In this video, I'm going to discuss in further detail the home inspection process. When you're purchasing a property, you have the right to do a home inspection, usually within about 10 days from the conclusion of the attorney review period. It is your option to do one. I do recommend that you do a home inspection unless you completely waive the inspection contingency on the property and are buying it without an inspection. But even then, most people would still do an inspection so they understand what they're getting into. But generally speaking, you have about a week or 10 days or so from the conclusion of attorney review to do a home inspection. It's an inspector that you will hire. I have linked down below several inspectors that my customers have had good experiences with in the area. Feel free to contact them, but you're welcome to reach out to any inspector of your choosing and hire them to inspect the property. On a condominium, inspection will take about an hour to an hour and a half or so on average. And on a single family home, it could take upwards of 3 to 5 hours, depending on the size of the property, just because there's a lot more area to inspect. Also on a single family home inspection, they're looking at the roof, they're looking at like basement areas, they're looking at the property. And on a condominium, there's less of that to look at. Also on a condominium, the common areas like a roof or a basement, they might just examine them, but those are issues usually fall under the condominium association's responsibility. So it's not really something that the inspectors usually get involved with. That's why the inspections take are much faster on a condominium. But at the actual inspection, you are there, the inspector is there, the buyer's agent's there, and sometimes the seller's agent is present. And the inspector will go through and they will look at all the major mechanicals, the heating system, the cooling system, the plumbing system, all the electricity, all the outlets, the electrical system, all the major appliances in the property, in the kitchen. They will examine all the windows to make sure they're all operating. They will look for leaks. They will look for any sort of signs of leaks, signs of water damage, signs of things that were recently painted over, moisture. Some inspectors have moisture meters. They could see if there's water penetration into windows and things like that. So they will examine all those areas because when you buy a property and we go through a property as an agent and the customer looking to buy, we're assuming that everything is in working order. Unless it was specifically disclosed to us by the seller that an appliance is not working, and we know that up front when you make the offer, you're assuming that everything is in working order. Now, in New Jersey, technically all properties are sold as is. So the home inspection is for informational purposes. However, you could discuss with your attorney which items you wish to request to be addressed, whether that's major items. That's my recommendation, is to look for major items to either get credited or repaired. Now, not all sellers agree to credit or repair, and not all sellers are willing to work with anyone on fixing any items. It is up to you then to decide if you wish to move forward with the purchase. From my experience, usually I've seen people terminate contracts over inspection items that are like major, like structural damage, things that are like above and beyond what like you were expecting when you bought the property. Not like cosmetic issues. Cosmetic issues are rarely addressed anyway. But and it would have to be like a major issue of electrical, cooling system is not working, or like, structural problem where people will terminate. But you do have the right to terminate if there is a home inspection contingency in the contract that remains in place. But you can discuss that with your attorney, and the inspector will provide a rather detailed report, usually with photos of all these for the inspection. And it's also good to hold on to that report after you close, because if there's any items that you want to fix, things you want to get around to, the inspector will make recommendations as far as like, these are things you may want to do in the future. So it's always good to keep the report handy. If you have any further questions about this, please let me know. Thank you.